just love music. They run the show at night. Dropping beats and lineup tips, turning waiver wire into light. Fast lane pickups, midnight moves, setting rosters right. They'll tell you who to start and who to bite the fight. Listen to sports rivals, rockin' renegades, crank it loud, crank it proud. Wanna win your fantasy league? Join the renegade crowd. John and Ralph know the way. They'll guide you through the fray. Starts and sits, waiver wire pickups. Tune in and play. From sleeper calls to breakout stars, they break it down and play by play. Stats and stories, grit and guts, they sharpen up your day. Trade advice and matchup gold, they hustle for your pay. Putting fantasy in overdrive, carving out the way. Listen to sports rivals, rockin' renegades, crank it loud, crank it proud. Wanna win your fantasy league? Join the renegade crowd. John and Ralph know the way. They'll guide you through the fray. Starts and sits, waiver wire pickups. Tune in and play. Late night hustle, early morning reads, they're scanning every game. Fast lane pickups, timely hits, they've got the instincts and the flame. No fluff, no noise, just real talk, no two hosts the same. John and Ralph, your fantasy compass, staking out the claim. Listen to sports rivals, rockin' renegades, crank it loud, crank it proud. Wanna win your fantasy league? Join the renegade crowd. John and Ralph know the way. They'll guide you through the fray. Starts and sits, waiver wire pickups. Tune in and play. Listen to sports rivals, rockin' renegades, rock your roster every day. Fast lane pickups, John and Ralph know the way.
Hey, welcome. Wow, I even get my own theme song here. What do you say? The guru of the gridiron, John. What do you think of that, man?
Ralph, man, I love it. Anytime I hear metal and it's just and then it has our names in it. You know,
I know, it's crazy.
sure,
It's crazy.
man.
Welcome to Rockin' Renegades Week 5, John. Hey, this week we're sponsored from Impact Heating and Cooling. You know, they're there for all your your furnace needs. Give them a call, 412-297-1852. They're open 24 hours. You have a problem, middle of the winter, give them a call. They'll be there to help you out, John. You know, they're there to crank up the heat like that song we had, man. I'm pretty pumped about that.
I don't even know what to say. I'm blown away. You know, I'm gonna have to put that on my radio show on Saturday.
I'll tell you what.
Keep the show up, man.
You know what I'm not blown away by, John, is my fantasy football teams and all the injuries I had this last coming weeks.
Bad.
You know, I lost Burrow on my team. I lost Hill on my team. I lost, since we do IDP, I lost Bosa. In my other league, I lost Lamar Jackson. So what we're going to do this week, John, is we're going to help those people out that are sitting in the same situation I am. And we're going to talk about, fantasy waiver wire pickups, and whatever else we can get through. Hey, before we go through this, let's talk about the good, man. Let's talk about the Rock in the Fast Lane coffee, and who is the Fast Lane Player of the Week, John?
You got to spread the word, man. Fast Lane
That's
coffee.
That's it.
Player
Pick
of the
it up.
week.
It's coffee's as hot as that theme song.
Puka Nakua. Man, this guy's a beast. I mean, he got hurt at halftime, went in the locker room, and then what does he do? Puts up 13 catches for 170 yards against an excellent Indy Colts defense and a touchdown to boot. Yeah, this guy is consistent week in and week out. So Fast Lane Coffee, shout out to Puka Nakua.
Nice. Maybe we can catch Nakua on the sideline, shaking a bag of that coffee. Maybe we should send him a few. What do you think?
That's right. Hey, I got him on my work fantasy team too. He put up 41 points.
That's awesome. That is
I
awesome.
was smiling the whole day.
But so like last week we went through a bunch of the quarterback needs, with the quarterbacks going down. Well, actually it wasn't last week, it was the week before because I was sick and a little under the weather last week. Sorry everybody that I missed.
Glad you're feeling better, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Hey, before we get into everything though, if you guys have any questions, anything you want to discuss fantasy wise, reach out to us. We'll surely be able to help you out. But let's talk about some of the injuries, man, and some of the running backs going down this week. We lost. Well, first you lost Connor, and then losing Trey Benson, in Arizona. You have Bucky Irving in Tampa Bay, taking a beating, and guys just not producing. It's kind of weird. You expect to see in like New Orleans, a bunch of receptions coming out, there. From the running back position, we're not getting that. The running backs in Baltimore, when I say the running backs, I mean Henry. Is this Henry, hitting the cliff finally at age 30? And what do you do when you have these players, Sean? What do we reach out to? What do we look at? But I want to start looking at the waiver wires. Some of the guys, let's start in Houston. With Mixon going down at the beginning of the year, I won't say going down, but being hurt, not coming back, and then Chubb stalling a little bit. One of the bright spots is Woody Marks. If he's still out there, might be a guy you might want to roll the dice on. He had 2 touchdowns last week. He actually got 17 touches. Vulturing some touches away from Chubb. And actually he had some receiving yards. He had what was it? 50 receiving yards, 69 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. One rushing, 1 receiving.
Yeah, that's look what he put up there, man. You're gonna make me laugh right in the middle of the show.
Got to get it. Hey, at our age, I'm still happy if we get a Woody or Chubb. You know what I'm saying? Once you hit that 50, it becomes tough, man. And most of the people playing fantasy football might share that same thing, with us, John.
That's right. I mean, that's a statement right there, man. I'll tell you what, if you're gonna get a Woody, definitely go to the Texans team because that guy they looked good in that game. I mean, what I like is you see those fresh running back legs. I mean, those guys that are fast and quick to to hit the hole and he catches too out of the backfield. And believe me, I have CJ Stroud in our league, and that guy needs every weapon that he can possibly get with that offensive line. So, yeah, if he's out there, I would grab him immediately.
Yeah, might be the guy. It'd probably be the guy at the top of my list to roll the dice on this week. And speaking of Chubbs and Woody, did I see this right on Facebook that you got engaged?
Oh, this is a good story. Chrissy and I have been together. Well, we've been together for 18 years.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those things where she changed something on her Facebook profile, and then the whole thing came out. So it was like a full blow up. But man, still in love 18 years.
Congratulations, man, on that.
I love her to death, man.
And she puts up with you. That's the main thing, man.
That's the problem. I mean, the football and the music and everything else. It's crazy, huh?
She puts up with that nonsense. She's a keeper.
That's right.
Right. As we're talking about running backs, like I said, reaching out to let's say Pittsburgh West in Arizona. Connor goes down. Trey Benson comes in. He's looking good. The people that, had to handcuff with Benson behind Connor, they were like, I'm sitting really good. This is looking good for me. And then Benson goes down. Benson's going to be out for a while. Then you're looking at a crowded backfield with, somebody like Michael Carter and then Amari, which is what's his last name, John? Can you pronounce it for me?
DeMarcado.
DeMarcado. So, Michael Carter, is probably going to be your every down, I would say, probably between your tackles guy. If you're looking for a guy to pick up and plug in, I would probably, if I was going to have to roll the dice, your floor on somebody is going to be Michael Carter for your pickup. But DeMarcado, if you want to, if you're a gambler and you want to pick a guy up, he's probably going to get some of the receptions out of the backfield. Murray, without the running game, you can see with Harrison, he's been struggling. Now, Harrison came on the second half of this next week to help Murray out. And, you're seeing a lot of the passes going to McBride, but you might want to roll the dice on DeMarcado. What's your thoughts, John, in Arizona?
I was actually going to say that, man. I'm a gambling man, so I have DeMarcado. I made some moves today in the work league, so now he's sitting on my bench. What I like about the guy is the speed. I mean, he brings that change of pace. You have that. James Conner obviously was that. Slam in there. Running hard up the middle, but then you got this guy with speed, and he scores touchdowns, and that's what you need. And you're playing fantasy football. I mean, those yards obviously they're all good, but when you got a guy that scores touchdowns and with speed and can score from anywhere on that field, it's nice to have that weapon.
I'm kind of curious on who they're going to use at the goal line there. You know what I mean? If it's going to be DeMarcado or if it's going to be Carter. Terry from Texas is checking in with us, huh?
Terry, how are you, man?
How you doing, man? What's on your team, Terry? You calling in about the running backs? Let us know about Woody. Woody Marks down there.
That's right. Hey, this is a Texas night, man. I got my Herschel Walker jersey on, man. I had to bring the 86 Herschel Walker out. That's I haven't worn this in a long time, so I figured I got to break it out. Ralph's coming back. He's feeling better, so let's bring out the Herschel Walker.
Yeah, nice, very nice. Hey, let's look at Tampa Bay now too. With it sucks with Irving going down.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? And chances are Rashad White's probably not out there. If it's a regular league, if it's a stacked league, White's probably your guy that you want to pick up. When he had the chance that, before Irving came in, White was the man there. I would probably roll the dice on Rashad White. Sean Tucker is there also. Maybe could vulture some touches, but I think White is going to be your guy down in Tampa.
Yeah, it's a short-term thing, we think, with Bucky Irving. I mean, I think it's only going to be, maybe a week or two. That's what it's looking like. I haven't heard anything. We're hoping so, because I got him on the work league team, and he kills it every year. I mean, the guy's, you look at a guy in his second year, Bucky Irving is a beast. I mean, the guy plays full throttle every single play. And I think he complements, what Baker Mayfield in that offense does very well. Baker's that kind of guy. He's, that gunslinger, tough. They go on the road. They're in Seattle this week, I believe. And that's a tough road trip.
It is.
Defense, solid team. I mean, but if White's out there, like Ralph said, you better get him, man.
Hey, it's looking like Terry. Terry's a Saints fan, and he wants to know what's up with that Jerry Rice poster behind you. But before we get into your Rice poster, let's move on to the Saints.
Let me show Terry something here real quick, man. You don't got to worry, brother. I got everything here. I got the vintage Saints helmet. I got the jerseys. This is
we might have you wear that at the next cast.
I might have to wear that to a funhouse show.
Sometimes the crowds get rowdy enough, you might need a football helmet.
That's right.
But
say, man, this dude's simple.
But speaking of the Saints, we were actually going there too. With Kamara not getting as many receptions, you're looking at his first 4 games. It's something ridiculous with only 13 receptions over the first 4 games. Usually he has that in a week, or 1 week, let alone over the first 4 weeks. Now you got Kendre Miller, vulturing the touches. He had 11 carries last week, 65 yards, and actually did get a TD. He's a guy that's probably sitting out there. If you want to, like you said, John, you're a gambling guy. It's another guy that's probably going to receive some touches here going forward. Maybe take a shot on him.
Yeah, I like it. And the reason, everybody has, Kamara out there, just not using him. Not using him in the passing game. It's sometimes it's just the the way the offenses roll, the way the game script goes and rolls. But I think picking him Miller up there, I think it's a great pick. I think if you have a chance to, and he's out there, especially if he's vulturing touchdowns.
I agree. And that's going to be that depends on your league too. If you're a touchdown league, if you're a PPR league, you need to know your league when you're once again when you're picking up these players. We're between you and I, we're just looking at the waiver wire. Who's going to be out there? Who's actually kept in a portion of these leagues? How many times these players are rostered? These are just the guys across the board. If you do run into these injuries you're having, that you can pick up. I want to look at another team that's I'm still not sure about, John, and it's Tennessee. Ward, the running game with Pollard. You're looking like a guy that could provide some spark coming off the IR. He was hurt for the first couple games, and that's Tajay Spears. What's your thoughts?
It's such a young offense. I mean, it's Cam trying to get into the groove now, feeling it out a little bit. It's going to take a few years, obviously, but Tajay Spears brings he brings that third element. You know what I mean? That third gear, actually. The guy fits the offense well. I mean, if they're going to use him in a passing game, obviously, I think it's a good pickup. I mean, if you need somebody for a few weeks, something like that, to fill in, because obviously we have bye weeks coming up, and that's always
starting
a problem.
This week, John.
Besides the injuries too, man. Right. Yeah, we got our Steelers off this week. Green Bay, man, there's some guys that that are going to be sitting on the bench now that you're going to need to hit the waiver wires.
Big guys like Josh Jacobs, on the bye this week.
Right.
Excuse me, like you said, the Steelers, our Steelers team. You have. Speaking of the Steelers, let's reach there. Gainwell, he had a great game.
Surprising.
What do we do? What do we do with Gainwell? Is it become a pickup? With Johnson not showing much. We talked about him and the Steelers. They don't like to play rookies. So what do we do with Gainwell? Is he a guy that maybe you throw a couple points on if you're looking to carry a running back?
I'll tell you what, I would definitely pick him up if he's out there. Even if you sit him on the bench, I think we need to see how much the Steelers are going to use him in that offense. But man, he was impressive. I mean, he ran the ball hard. No give up, breaking tackles. And what was great about what I saw was the fact that he got stronger as the game went on. And, to see that guy get the touches and he's he's really a surprise. I'm not going to say for this year because we haven't seen enough of him yet, but boy, we looked at the next couple of weeks and we see that usage out there. And I think he's, he proved that he's able to handle the workload. So,
I agree.
Take a flyer on.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, this week, Steelers, Packers, Bears, and Falcons. You got two big running backs off. The Packers with Jacobs. The Falcons with Bijan.
Right.
Then you got the Steelers and Bears. If you have Swift, Swift. These are guys you can start to look to fill in with. But hey, John, once again, we want to thank our sponsor this week, not just Rockin the Fast Lane coffee, but Impact Heating and Cooling for all your HVAC needs. If your condenser craps the bed, and if you're having problems with your furnace, or even if you needed like duct cleaning or any kind of repairs, reach out to Impact Heating. Anytime of the day, open 24 hours. They will get somebody out there to make sure you're nice and toasty for the winter that's coming up here in the winter football season.
We're gonna need those guys too, man.
I'm telling you, it always happens.
Sucks, but
You
it's
know, I'm
coming up
knocking on wood, John, with a new house. I don't have any problems. So,
it's a good
but if
deal
I do, I'm calling Impact Heating.
for sure.
So we discussed, what's going on this week. We discussed some things that's going on in the league. What's your take on? We kind of touched on Henry at the beginning. What do we do? What do we do in Baltimore now? With Lamar Jackson, maybe being sidelined for a week or two, they're going to need to rely on Henry in the running game more. I mean, if they start to lean on Justice Hill a little bit more, is Henry done? I mean, what are we seeing? We know he's on the wrong side of 30, and I mean the guy's a monster, a beast. But is Henry at the wall? Is it his time?
I actually don't think so. I think this is just a little bit of a fluke. I think you look back on Derrick Henry's career, and JT put it up there 1-3, and they play the Texans. I'm always starting Derrick Henry. He's never going to sit on my bench unless I have Bijan, or somebody like that. Somebody that's upper tier that's going to get the the touches and the receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, but
And
man, Derrick Henry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we talked about that, John. You draft these guys for a reason. They're your ride or die. You always start your main guys. You never. Because you'll kick yourself if you don't. Never second guess yourself. You draft these guys. You got to play them. You got to stick them in.
Right. That's right. And this Baltimore team is a real surprise, like you said. I mean, John Harbaugh is never going to let this roll through. I mean, some heads are going to roll. Lamar Jackson. I just don't see this happen, and this is a short-term thing that they will get fixed.
The defense is what's surprising me. The defense has just been bad. It's been bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So maybe it's kind of looking good for our Steelers. A team at the very beginning that I was picking, going like 10-7. Maybe it gets a little bit better. Lamar Jackson's out. They're already 1-3. Burrow's missing some time. So the only other team that, in our division we got to contend with, maybe is Cleveland. And Cleveland right now, John, moving away from the running backs, we're looking at a changing the guards at quarterback.
That's right.
Flacco having too many interceptions already in the first 4 games. From what it looks like, it's Dylan Gabriel, the Oregon Duck, coming in.
Right.
And with that, John, I want to say, hey, if you have Judy, if you have Tillman, if you have Njoku, maybe try to trade for Quinshon Judkins.
That's right. Or curb your expectations heavily, man. But that's and it's amazing. I saw a post the other day, and a guy had a Cleveland Browns jersey on with 41 quarterbacks since 1999, and it's insanity.
Hey, I remember the year Tim Couch came out. I'm like, oh, he's the man. It's going to be great for them. Baker Mayfield comes out. Oh, he's the man. He's going to be great for them. Well, Baker Mayfield has turned out to be a good quarterback, just not with the Browns. Watson, they trade all those draft picks for Deshaun Watson, and he's too busy with the rub and tug to let alone anything else.
That's right. Yeah, he's spending his time at the massage parlors. I mean, he's probably still doing it. That has to be the craziest thing that any NFL team has ever done in the history of the NFL. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no doubt. How long do you think Dylan Gabriel is going to last? Is it going to be Sanders time? Is it going to be a couple of weeks they're going to give him? Is he going to be a short leash on a quarterback and then they roll with the next rookie quarterback? I think we're going to have some news stories panned out here in with the old Brownies this year, huh?
I think so too. I think it's it's heading to be another mess. And being a Steeler fan and saying it, it almost, I know a lot of Cleveland Brown fans, and it kind of, with the talent that team has, to not be able to get over the hump at all with these crazy trades and the getting rid of the guys at the wrong time and not giving them the proper opportunities. It's Ralph, I don't know, man. Shadur Sanders, I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to amount to anything, honestly. I mean, the guy already has, attitude problems and things like that. I mean, when Gabriel went in and you saw the sideline expression, that's not somebody I want leading my team.
Right, right. And I'm going to tell you, you know, if you do have the Judys, the Tillmans, I just hate to tell you, your receiver's going to take a hit. And if you're one of the lucky ones that have Quinshon Judkins sitting out there in your waiver, that is the guy at the top of the list you want to pick up.
That's right.
That's the guy you want to roll the dice on this week.
There it
Well,
is
there
right
you go.
there.
There's the image. There's the image, John. You could get on. Oh, a few you forget about: Johnny Manziel, Hoyer.
Yep. Oh my God.
God.
That is a list there.
It sure is. How many of those jerseys do you own?
None of those, luckily. Luckily. Yeah, that's that wasn't one that I pulled the trigger on. I mean, your wallet kind of melts when you see that. Brown.
You mean one of the 41 jerseys that you didn't pull the trigger on,
huh? It's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah, if you guys out there that are watching, if you have any questions about your lineup, if there's anything you want to reach out to us about, please do. Let us know your thoughts, or just reach out to us. Let us know how you're sitting. If you're 1-3, 3-1, what your lineups look like. If you have any thoughts, if you have any trade advice that you need, reach out to us. So, John, how's your teams doing? Let's talk. Let's pull away from who to pick up. Let's talk about our fantasy teams and how we're looking real quick, because we got about 3 minutes left in the broadcast. So,
our league, my team now is 3-1. I lost this past week, and I just want to give a shout out to AJ Brown for doing absolutely nothing almost this entire season. I can't understand it. It's almost like they're looking to trade the guy. Way too much talent. He did have, I believe he did have like 9 or 10 targets though, which is crazy. I mean, they're just not clicking in the passing game. There's
now is it him or is it Hurts? We've known Hurts had problems in the past with the accuracy and things like that. And, thank God he runs, and you're getting points if you're in a running league, that you're getting points for, a quarterback running. But, I seen him at the top of the list on, like, at the beginning of the year on everybody's list. Oh, you got to take Hurts. He's in the top 3, the top 4. I never seen that in the guy. He's just not. I mean, you look at Lamar Jackson, who took a step forward and threw for 40-some touchdowns. I don't see Hurts, ever really doing that.
You're right. Exactly.
The guys like Burrow that we expected were going to throw for 40 touchdowns, but he's hurt, and and then you got like Allen, who's just incredible. I just don't get that with Hurts.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, you nailed it right there, because the guy, if you take away the the running, which he does very well. He's tough, he's aggressive, and if they take away the tush push, I mean, then what do you have?
No touchdowns. You go from having 40 touchdowns down to like 20. You know what I mean? You cut his touchdown production in half.
That helps you out though, man. Saquon
helps out with Barkley, and I'll tell you what, with the injuries, I can use all the help I need. Early MVPs. Who you thinking, John? Allen, Baker? Anybody else you wanna throw there? Maybe Jackson Dart after his first start turns. I mean, he lost Neighbors, but turns that around. But who's your MVP? Who you saying this year, John?
I think it's tough to pull away from Josh Allen. At this point, I mean, the guy he does everything right. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're in a game like they were last week, which it wasn't their best game, but it seems like week in and week out, year in and year out, consistent. Josh Allen. I mean, the guy can run the ball. I mean, he's just amazing player.
And the best thing, with no number one receiver. I mean, he has a bunch of guys that are solid for him, but he doesn't have the big number one receiver to throw to. I would probably have to agree with you. But one thing, you never know. If the Chiefs turn it around, they might just hand that to Mahomes again. They're going to say, hey, It's the Chiefs. They started down. Look, he brought the team back. Maybe they hand it to Mahomes. But I think Allen. I think you're right. I think Allen gets ripped off every year. He's one of the true stars in the league. He's one of the guys I would hang my hat on if I needed to. But I would agree with you, John. I would go MVP right for Allen.
I don't. I know we don't have a lot of time, but let's hit Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Who do you have so far? Because I have a guy in mind that I've been very impressed with the last few weeks.
So
I'll let you go first.
So it's kind of tough. John just JT in the background just threw up my pick there.
Good pick.
I was going to say you have guys that had a great week last week like Gentry. Ashon Gentry had a great week. But I'm going a kid out of. And he looks good. I don't know when Mike Evans is coming back, but if I had to hang my hat on, I'd love the kid in Tampa Bay. He's
amazing. The catches that he makes and what I love about him is how aggressive he is to the ball. He doesn't let cornerbacks, punish him. He's always open. Baker has that trust in him. I love him in Tampa Bay. That's a superstar for years to come. My other guys are Marion Hampton, the way he's been playing in
great week.
LA.
Great week last week, with Harris going down. There's no going to be splitting carries. Marion Hampton's going to just be handed the ball. The only thing with Mbuka that worries me is, Godwin come back. They're kind of like the same player to me. But like once Evans comes back, does he lose receptions? You're with Godwin, Evans, and Mbuka. But those would probably be the top two. If you're the guys that drafted Marion Hampton, and I did in one league, I drafted Hampton, but I couldn't get my hands on any of my leagues on Mbuka. Went too fast for me, and I kind of wish I did, because I like the kid.
Me too. I think he's going to be one of my favorites for a long time. And that's a good team. I've already stated that I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. But Cleveland screwed him over.
They did.
And to see that guy do well here, I love it.
I'm going to tell you, John, at the end of the year, from Mbuka, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't end up with like 1,200 yards and about 8 touchdowns on the year. He already has 4. 8 to 10 is not out of the reach, and getting those numbers out of a rookie receiver is, you can't debate that.
I know I need to get that. I got a Warwick Dunn. I got James Wilder back from '83. I got the Dreamsicle. So yeah, I got a lot of them. But man, I need an Mbuka jersey. I'm gonna have to get that.
Maybe one of these days, John, I'll surprise you and bust out my Trent Richardson jersey.
Oh, that's a beauty. You got to wear that next week. We got to wear the worst jersey that we have, like player wise.
Oh, dude, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to bust out my Matt Leinart. Yeah. All right, John. Classic, hey, we're a little over this week. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for Impact Heating for sponsoring us again for your heating needs. Hopefully, John, next week on next Wednesday, we got a little bit better things to talk about besides another injury list. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy, and hope you do too. If you if you guys need anything, reach out to Impact Heating. They'll take care of your heating needs, and we'll see you next week for week 6 of the Fantasy Football Rockin' Renegade Show.